Welcome to Protect Your Children Now. This is your host, Christopher Gelson with Protect Your Children Incorporated. We're glad that you are here. We have Cody in the chat. Good to see you. Rising on Eagles Wings. Good to see you. And a whole bunch of people watching on Twitter. Let me take a look here. We got Twitter. We've got YouTube and Facebook as well. We want to let you know that if you're on YouTube, you can comment and we will see your comments right here and post some of them on the screen. Facebook as well. Unfortunately for Twitter or X, we are not able to see your comments. Rumble, we're not able to see your comments, but have no fear because after the show, we will be checking your comments and reply to them. We got a crazy show set up for you tonight. We're glad that you joined us. Man, this Diddy stuff is a mess. We did a live show. God, what was it when he first got arrested? It was simply called Diddy in the Doo-Doo, right? Come on, Diddy is in the doo-doo. Well, I'll tell you what, this guy is on a speed train to hell right now. And of course, he is innocent until proven guilty. Now, in our opinion, in order to believe that he is innocent, we have to believe what is it now, almost 100 allegations made against him. We have to ignore the videos that we've seen coming online. We have to ignore all of that to think that this man is just a saint who was just helping out young kids to become popular and famous just like he was. Right? That's all. Nice guy, right? Yeah, we don't think so. We don't think so. And I'll tell you, whether it was Aaron Carter or Justin Bieber or Usher or Ashton Kutcher, God, there's allegations now of kids as young as 9 years old being abused at these freak-offs. There's a 14-year-old girl who's now suing P. Diddy for alleged sexual assault. And, you know, the hard part is with the advent of technology, we have plenty of video out there that's not real. We have AI stuff that is not real. So it's definitely hard to tell the truth from the lie. All right. But we're trying to do our best to bring to you what we know, let you know our thoughts on it. And we look forward to what your comments and your thoughts are on the whole situation. It is absolutely a mess. And we will tell you that in the past couple of years, there's been a lot of awareness being raised now. And maybe this is an answer to prayer for, millions of people, that finally the attention is being drawn to the fact that kids are being trafficked, that kids are being abused. We'll have to use that language for the YouTube algorithm, abused. And especially in Hollywood, but not just in Hollywood, in our own communities. And this is why we cover this stuff, because everyone will say, well, what is, Usher, Bieber, Carter, God rest his soul, P. Diddy, what's that got to do with my child? My child's not in Hollywood. My child's not in the music industry. So what has this got to do with anything? And we always say that the reality is that these predators work the same way. And we're going to see that tonight. We're going to see that just even with the P. Diddy video, where he talks about Bieber spending 40 hours with him. You're going to see something in that video, and I hope you guys catch it. But you see, you have to offer things to your, alleged victims, to keep them with you, right? You have to make promises down the road, right? So that they feel like if they expose anything or if they lose you, they're not going to get this wonderful thing that you're promising to give them. And that's what predators do. And Diddy, was no different when it came to these young boys. And we're going to see that tonight. So it's going to be a crazy show, and we're just glad that you're here. And please share the live stream, share this, and like and subscribe. That does help the algorithm. It makes a big difference. It really does. It makes a difference. And let's just try to get this message out to a lot of people so that they can become more aware of what the heck is going on. All right. So let me start off by sharing our website with you, protectyourchildren.org, protectyourchildren.org, protectyourchildren.org. Tons of education and awareness, everything free, everything from the in-depth protection packet, which you'll see at the top of your screen there. That is available in English and Spanish. Detailed protection guidelines. Detailed, yes, on how to identify predators, warnings and lookouts for kids, warnings and lookouts for parents, tips on preventing kidnapping. Just a whole lot of great information is in that protection packet, and it's free to download from our website here, protectyourchildren.org. All our live shows, all the podcasts are available on the website as well. Free background checks. Yes, local, state, national background checks. We will do them for free for you. Believe it or not, we don't need a social security number. That's the number one question that we get. I don't have the person's social security number. Can you still find them? Yes, we can. We have multiple resources, multiple tools. We can locate people and let you know if they've been arrested or if there's any questionable stuff in their background so that you know what kind of person you're getting involved with. Because too many times kids have been hurt and abused, or single moms have been hurt and abused, and then we found out after the fact that the person had a criminal record. Like, are you kidding me right now? So now, just because someone doesn't have a criminal record does not mean they are absolutely safe. We must know this because there is such thing as first-time offenses, right? And some people legitimately have a first-time offense, and some people have been offending for so freaking long that just never got caught yet. So, but in any case, we do background checks for free on our website. All our podcasts, like I said, are there. Zip code predator searches, how to set up parental control on your kids' devices, lists of missing children by state. You can donate on our website, protectyourchildren.org, to help us get the message out further. There's just so much there, so definitely check out our website, protectyourchildren.org. We appreciate that. All right, we'd like to start off each show with a little good news. I mean, right? Because this is hard. Listen, I'm going to be honest with you. We do these live shows every week. We're on social media all week long. You can find all our links, by the way, on our website, protectyourchildren.org, TikTok, Rumble, Instagram, Facebook, all those on our website. But it is depressing. It is absolutely depressing. Like, this is some sad stuff, man. When you see like Justin Bieber, we're going to be focusing a lot on him tonight, and you watch the downfall and just how lonely and wrecked that this man is. Like, I mean, he's coming back now. I mean, he's really embraced his faith, and he's been doing some worship stuff. And I think he's really finding that solace in God, and it's helping him to kind of come back together. But wow, I mean, when you see these kids starting out young and innocent, and then after a few years, you look at what's happened to them, you can only ask, well, how did that take place? It has to be the people around them, right? And of course, the common link between Aaron Carter and Justin Bieber and Usher and Ashton Kutcher is P. Diddy himself. You know, we're just saying that if there's smoke, there's fire. That's just what our opinion is. And we look forward to what your opinion is on this. So, but we'd like to start off with a little bit of good news, something to encourage us a little bit and to show you that there still is good people in the world. There is still good people in the world, okay? And, you know, the reality is that the world is a tough place. It is a tough place. There's a lot of bad news. There's a lot of just crazy stuff. But there is still a lot of good people out there, all right? There's still a lot of good people. And we like to highlight some of those things. And we're going to bring you a couple of those little segments tonight, just a few minutes each, to kind of encourage us a little bit. So let's take a look at this first clip here. And this is just an example of how when you support kids, when kids have a dream, and I know Bieber had a dream, and Carter had a dream, and Usher had a dream for Hollywood. I know. Now, if you're going to support that and let those kids get in, let your kids get involved in that stuff, then of course you got to protect them, watch over them, and do everything that's necessary to make sure that they stay safe. But for the kids that are just out on the street and they're just trying to make it in basketball or baseball or something that they just really want to do, a sport, it's important for them to be supported, right? Because kids that have a focus and a passion and a dream are less likely to find themselves going off in the wrong direction. It's just the true stats. So this child right here, this teenager, loves basketball, but there was only one problem. Couldn't afford a basketball hoop. Couldn't even afford a good basketball. But look what happened when people stepped in and changed this kid's life. Let's check this out.
I just here I'm outside dribbling on the driveway, dribbling down the block, just shooting at the tree, just doing his thing. You know, he's just being a good kid. It looked like he had a passion for ball, so just figured, hey, let's try and find this kid a net. So yeah, we just created a post online and on a Facebook page, and yeah, we were just blown away with all the support from the community and stuff like that. Everybody wanted to help the kid out.
What's up, buddy? How's it going? You like ball?
Yeah.
There you go.
Thanks.
Come on out. Your mom said you wanted to be a basketball player. Come here. You probably need a net. So this is from people at Canadian Tire. They thought we should have a net. We set up a little something, and yeah, so now you got a net. You got a ball. And then more people, they wanted to help out too. People from all around the north side. So they wanted you to have that.
Oh, thanks. This actually means a lot.
I know it does.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I see you dribbling the ball all the time. You need a net to shoot on, right?
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. So go ahead, open up your card, buddy. Here, I'll hold the ball.
Anthony, keep following your dreams and work hard, and anything is possible. Love the Rays and all the North Side.
And there's some cash there for you, so you can go buy whatever you want at Sport Check. There's $750 there.
150.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
No, you're a good kid. Good kids deserve good things. So keep doing what you're doing, man. Work hard.
Wow.
Follow your dreams.
Thanks a lot.
Okay?
Thanks a lot.
You betcha, buddy. You betcha, man.
I was scared at first when he first turned up because he was a little intimidating. Like, I mean, just look at him, he almost looks like Thor. And he's like, it was like a little scary because I felt like people were getting annoyed from my dribbling. So, and then he gives me the basketball net, and I was like, wow, I'm trying to hit the professional career, like work hard to make it to that stage, make it to the NBA and show everybody what's up. Like, you know how they say to rookies in the NBA, welcome, and I'll be welcoming them soon. So yeah.
And that's awesome, right? There are great people left in the world, man. And I'll tell you something, just, you know, you notice that the guy who helped out was white and the kid was black. Did it matter? No, it didn't matter. It didn't matter, black, white. It didn't matter at all, right? This is just what happens when we do good things to help each other out. And there's still a lot of that good left in the world. So even though the stuff we discuss is disturbing and it's saddening, after the show tonight, I mean, if you don't feel for these kids, man, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. But it breaks our heart every day when we hear about stories of kids that have dreams, they have passions, and we hear about them getting abused or kidnapped, and it destroys their whole life, you know. And this random act of kindness from a whole lot of people actually that came together to help this young man out is going to encourage him to go forth in his dream to become an NBA player. And we wish him the best with that. We hope that he'll remember that for the rest of his life. So how awesome is that? All right. Let's see what we got here. We got a whole lot of people joining the show tonight. We're thankful for that. But just a few people in the chat. Again, if you're on YouTube, you can post comments and we'll see them right here on the screen. If you're on Facebook, you can do the same. Twitter or X. Sorry, we're not able to see your comments live. Rumble, we're not able to see them live, but we will definitely check them afterwards. So please give us your thoughts, your comments, and your input. And we appreciate that greatly. So, all right, one more quick segment, and then we're going to jump into Diddy and his freaking evil, alleged evil stuff. Yeah, we'll have to say that to be nice. All right, let's check this out. This teenager right here, 18 years old, working at Waffle House. Now, look, we're in Tampa, Florida, okay? We just kind of had this hurricane which came through here. It didn't really hit Tampa very much except for the storm surge. It wasn't too bad in our area, but, you know, just 50 miles north of here, it's an absolute disaster. And you guys probably seen the social media of what's happening. But that Hurricane Helene was quite a nightmare for a lot of people. And, you know, there's an ongoing joke about Florida. And if the Waffle House closes, you know you're in big trouble, right? So, and but in any case, this 18-year-old is working at the Waffle House, and she sees a man who's in need. And check out what happens. Absolutely heartwarming. And then we'll jump into the Diddy stuff.
Hoping to save up for college, 18-year-old Ebony Williams tallies her tips at the end of every shift at the Waffle House.
You ready to order, babe?
She was working towards her higher education that busy Saturday morning when she met Adrian.
He was like, my hands are not functioning too well. He need me to cut his food, and I did.
Having trouble cutting up his meat, the 78-year-old asked for help.
My hands are not up to par. If I want to cut my meat, I gotta look like I'm starving it.
Of course she said yes, but what the two didn't know is that they were being watched by another customer.
It was so busy in here, you know, and she actually took the time to stop and hear what he had to say instead of, walking past him. And that just meant something to me.
Laura Wolf snapped this photo in the middle of that moment.
And I got a fancy picture of my suspenders in the back.
But what no one expected was what happened next.
Somebody told me a few days later that I was very popular because they got me on Facebook.
A moment now captured in time also captured the attention of thousands on Facebook. And that sweet gesture was rewarded today with a sweet surprise by the city of Lamarck
as Ebony Nene Williams Day.
I got my own day.
And a $16,000 scholarship from Texas Southern University.
I got a scholarship to TSU.
A life-changing gift for a tearful teen who still says she did nothing special.
No, it's something I'll do any other day.
It's something she'd do any other day, right? That's a good heart right there, okay? And this is what we want to protect. We want to protect these kids. Kids are awesome. They have passions. They have dreams. They're born with good hearts. They really do love people. And when they get abused by these freaking evil predators, it wrecks their life, and it throws them totally off course, and it becomes hell to get back. And some of them don't make it back. So we bring you those stories to remind you of how awesome kids are. And when they're raised right, and their parents are involved, and their parents are nosy, and their parents are protecting them, then kids can go on to be successful and make a difference in the world. And that's what our hope is for every child out there. And we know that that's what your hope is as well. So, all right, let's kick this off with the list of charges. Now, this is crazy, right? We're assuming there's going to be more charges. And if there isn't, we're going to be pissed. Excuse the language. But yeah, because the amount of allegations that are out there, we would have to think that the police are investigating every single one of them for merit, right? I mean, the lawsuits are going to come. There's no doubt. There's probably going to be some fakers that are going to jump on to get money. But there's also going to be a lot of real victims, too, that are going to sue Diddy. And unfortunately, for some of them, the statute of limitations has run out, and which is just ridiculous. So we talked about that last week on the show. I think there's 6 states now that have extended the statute of limitations out like to 30 years, which is about freaking time, because in most states you have like 4 years to report abuse. And after that, but yeah, you can't sue the person. You can't even criminally prosecute them. Well, what is that garbage, right? So, but we hope that there's going to be more charges as all this stuff comes out, because a lot of people have kind of said that Diddy's like the Black Epstein, right? And it seems like that. But we got to remember that Diddy wasn't doing this alone. I mean, he was charged with RICO for a reason. Okay, the racketeering conspiracy, like there was a whole lot of people involved in this. And not to get conspiratorial on y'all, but there's been people talking about this for years. For years. How there is literally a cabal of elites that are trafficking children and abusing children. And it's in the music industry and in Hollywood and the movies and everything else. And it's finally the time where between The Sound of Freedom, which came out, and then Epstein, and now Diddy, people are starting to realize that this is a real thing, that there is really a coordinated conspiracy of predators and traffickers out there that are going after our children. This is a real situation. And again, it doesn't matter if you're living in a little tiny town in Florida and you're thinking, not anywhere near Hollywood. As we saw just a few weeks ago, there was a coordinated effort to not only kidnap a couple of young boys, but a teenage girl just a few blocks away. You can't say that's a coincidence. So these traffickers are coming into the neighborhoods and they are looking for kids, right? And the tactics are always the same. The promises, that this is what's going to happen. This is going to be good for you. This is what we're going to do. All this bunch of crap. It's all lies to manipulate and to fool these kids. So let's check out the list of charges as read for Diddy, and we'll be right back.
That used the business empire he controlled to carry out criminal activity, including sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and the obstruction of justice. Let me say a little bit more about the charges. The indictment alleges that Combs abused and exploited women and other people for years, and in a variety of ways. As alleged, Combs used force, threats of force, and coercion to cause victims to engage in extended sexual performances with male commercial sex workers, some of whom he transported or caused to be transported over state lines. Combs allegedly planned and controlled the sex performances, which he called freak-offs, and he often electronically recorded them. The freak-offs sometimes lasted days at a time, involved multiple commercial sex workers, and often involved a variety of narcotics, such as ketamine, ecstasy, and GHB, which Combs distributed to the victims to keep them obedient and compliant. As alleged, when Combs didn't get his way, he was violent, and he subjected victims to physical, emotional, and verbal abuse so that they would participate in the freak-offs, and that Combs hit, kicked, threw objects at, and dragged victims, at times by their hair. On one occasion in March of 2016, that conduct was captured on video and later reported in the media. Specifically, Combs kicked, dragged, and threw a vase at a victim in a Los Angeles hotel when the victim was attempting to flee. As alleged, these assaults often resulted in injuries to the victims, which took days or weeks to heal. In addition to the violence, the indictment alleges that Combs threatened and coerced victims to get them to participate in the freak-offs. He used the embarrassing and sensitive recordings he made of the freak-offs as collateral against the victims. And the indictment alleges that he maintained control over the victims in several ways, including by giving them drugs, by giving and threatening to take away financial support or housing, by promising them career opportunities, by monitoring their whereabouts, and even by dictating their physical appearance. Because of all of this, the indictment alleges that the victims did not believe they could refuse Combs without risking their security or facing more abuse. The indictment also alleges other acts of violence undertaken by Combs and others, including violence against witnesses to his abuse, kidnapping, and arson. The indictment alleges that on more than one occasion, Combs carried or brandished firearms to intimidate and threaten victims and witnesses. Now, Combs did not do this all on his own. As I mentioned, Combs has been charged with RICO conspiracy. He used his business and employees of that business and other close associates to get his way.
Wow. These charges and these allegations, they line up with a lot of the stuff that we've seen from predators. And again, Diddy's innocent until proven guilty. But you got to think about it. Predators like to control. Now, you have two different types of predators, right? You have a predator that will groom a child. There will be no physical force involved. There'll be no threats, but they'll groom them from a young age, convince them that the assaults that are taking place are okay, that it's not harmful, that, people just don't understand, that kind of stuff. It's our little secret, friends keep secrets with friends kind of thing, right? And then you have people that will go after a child and get them to try to do stuff. And if the child refuses, or in this case, we're talking about Cassie Ventura, like she wanted to get away from him. And sometimes these predators, when they feel like they are not getting the control that they want through the sex or whatever it is that they're doing, they will get violent. They will get violent in order to scare a child or scare someone into staying. Give them the fear of God into them, right? And in this case, he's, I'm Diddy. I'm Sean Puffy Combs. You can't mess with me. I can control your life. I can ruin your life. And we all saw the video of what he did to Cassie. And he came out with that little apology, oh, I was messed up. And man, I'll tell you what, and I want to rely on my faith to help me get through. And shut up, dude. But we saw that. And the violence. Now, you go over to the young kids. What do these kids want most, right? They want to be famous, right? So what an amazing deal, right? Oh, they're going to get connected to Puff Daddy, right? Everybody knows who he is. One of the most famous musicians out there. We're going to get you connected to him, and he's going to make your career take off, and you're going to make millions of dollars. You're going to get fast cars and all the women you want, and you're going to have all of this, and your family's going to be provided for, and your mom's going to have a new house, and I'm going to make it all happen for you. Well, that sounds fantastic, the kids think. And then freak-offs and other situations take place. And as you know, Diddy was recording everything. So therefore now, when these kids spend their 48 hours with Diddy, as Bieber did, God knows what the heck happened during that time. There's video. And once they have that video, it's basically like, hey, guess what? You're now going to do whatever I want you to do for as long as I want you to do it, or I'm going to release this to the public and your career is going to be destroyed. You're going to be embarrassed. You're going to be ashamed. People are going to mock you. It's going to be all over the tabloids. And your life is going to be over. So now you will continue to come to the freak-offs. You'll continue to do what I want you to do with whoever I want you to do it with. And now they're trapped. It's known as sextortion. This happens online to kids every day. You get a child to send a photo, something compromising, they think they're sending it to someone, a girl that's their age. It's really a predator behind that profile. Then they come back and say, hey, guess what? I'm going to send this out on Snapchat to all your friends. Going to send it out. It's going to be all over school. It's going to be all over everywhere unless you pay me money or meet up with me to do what I want you to do. And then the kids are trapped. See, it's the same tactic. And you'd say, well, Justin Bieber or an Usher or an Aaron Carter or an Ashton Kutcher, they have more to lose. But really, do they? I mean, whether it's a child at school being embarrassed, being made fun of, being bullied for years to come because of a picture or something that got out, or it's these guys not being able to have their Hollywood career. It's destructive in either case. But these predators always want to have leverage. And we're going to focus on the kids tonight, but we know that there were thousands, had to be 1,000 other people there at these different parties. Politicians, leaders from around the world. Look at Epstein, for crying out loud. Now, we never got to find out those names, did we? Nope. Epstein gets put in prison, supposedly committed suicide. Sorry, YouTube, unalived himself, if you believe that. And then that was the end of it. We don't hear about anybody but Prince Andrew that was there. Even though we know that the Clintons and the Obamas and all these people were at Epstein's island. No charges, no nothing. We get the feeling that Diddy's going to take the fall if he's not unalived first. Will we ever find out who these other people are? We hope that the police will. They did charge him with the RICO statute, so they must know there was a whole bunch of other people involved, and those names need to come out. This is not going to stop unless these people get caught. This kind of thing has been going on for decades and decades and decades. It's about time that it's getting exposed. Is Diddy the top of the chain? Most likely not. But did he have the power and the means and the money and the control and the blackmail in order to keep it rolling? Absolutely. To keep it quiet for decades and decades and decades? Yeah, according to police, he did. And these young, precious kids who just wanted to use their amazing talent to have a career get put into the hands of this character and his ilk, and their lives get destroyed. It's really a shame to see. Now, look, this goes back to parents, and everyone's asking the number one question. When that video, we're going to take a look at it in a minute here, where we see Diddy and Bieber, and Diddy's like, hey, I've got custody over Bieber for 48 hours. His mom had to okay that, right? And she's probably thinking, hey, it's Puff Daddy. He's cool. He's not going to let anything happen to my 14-year-old son. By the way, Usher was about 14 when he started hanging out with Diddy. In fact, Usher lived with Diddy for a couple of years. We'll look at that in a little bit. But right around that same age, what parent is letting their 14-year-old go live with a music mogul for 48 hours or for longer? Who's doing that? Because they got the blinders on. Oh, nothing bad's going to happen. And Diddy's been arrested before. See, people forget about this. This isn't the very first time he had an issue. But parents just don't think. You can't leave your children alone. Remember Quiet on the Set? We did a few live shows on that documentary that came out. I mean, all the stuff that was happening with Disney and Nickelodeon. Like, are you kidding me right now? Disney, went on and hired a guy, I want to say it was Brian Peck, I think it was him, who was already arrested previously for a child sex crime. And then Disney went and hired the guy to go work on a Disney show. Tell me, they didn't know that he had been previously arrested for this? Of course they did. Did the parents not know about it? Probably didn't pay attention. So they send their kids to go be in Hollywood and get successful so the parents themselves can have money and fame. And they don't realize that these vultures are hanging around their kids. Have they not heard Corey Feldman talk about this for, 20 years now? And what happened with Corey Haim and all the Charlie Sheen stuff and all that? Has no one heard of this? and you still send your kids to go be with these people. Now, okay, that's Hollywood. Let's bring it down to the community level. You let your kids go sleep over someone else's house. Hey, look, Tommy's going over Johnny's house to spend the night. Oh, that's great. We know Johnny, good kid. Do we know who else is in Johnny's house? Is there a brother with a porn addiction? Is there a crazy uncle? Is there, a seductive mother? Who else is in that house? What's happening when your child's there? Do you think about that? Is there a possibility of cameras being in that house and trying to get your child to do something wrong so that they become a victim now too? These stories have happened. How about the crazy father who laced the what was it, the smoothies? Remember this from a while back? His daughter was having a slumber party, sleepover, and the dad laced the smoothies with prescription drugs to get them all passed out. And that's in the community level. Now, I mentioned when we started that it's hard to figure out what's real and what's not. And, there's a song out there that people are claiming is from Justin Bieber. It's 25 seconds. We're going to play the clip for you. But again, it could be AI. But considering some of the other stuff that Bieber's talked about, tried to get the warning signs out there, maybe it's true. Maybe he did release this. His publisher and his people have said to the news, we have no comment on if this was really Justin or not. But we don't know. But let's check it out. It's a 25-second song. Listen to this real quick.
Lost myself at a Diddy party. Didn't know that's how it goes. I was in it for a new Ferrari, but it cost me way more than my soul. Wasn't worth all the fortune and fame. All the girls never walking the same. Signed a paper so he never has to ever say sorry. Lost myself at a Diddy party.
Okay, did he really make that song? We don't know. But we do know that he was at these parties. We're going to see a couple clips from that. He was at these parties. So it's very possible that that song is very true about what exactly happened. But we'll let you decide if you think that's true or not. Is it AI? Some people said that doesn't sound like Bieber. Well, who knows? But we'll see. Now, this next little video clip here, this is real. This here is definitely real. Okay, you may have seen this. And this is where Diddy is patting Justin Bieber down for a wire. He's looking to see if he's wearing a wire. Now, why would you do that unless you were hiding something, huh? If Diddy's is just innocent and pure as the white-driven snow, as his lawyers say, and he's just looking to clear his good name, why are you patting down a teenager to see if they're wearing a wire? One more time. What do you think? Is he patting him down for a wire, or is he just kind of talking to him and he's going, hey, hey, what's up? Yeah, hey, I love you, man, whatever. Looks like he's being patted down to us. And what's creepy about that is, first of all, where's Bieber going? So if this is a wire, then Diddy's checking him for a wire before he goes off with somebody to head somewhere for some reason. Right? And then what do you hear Bieber say right before he gets into that vehicle? He says, I love you. I mean, okay. Kind of weird, right? And he looks like hell in that video. Looks like he's definitely been through the ringer already. And he's probably, what, maybe 15, 16 years old in that video. So we know that that actually happened. Now, this next clip, we will warn you. It's okay. The allegations are, and you might want to hide your kids and hide your wife, but the allegations here are that Bieber was doing something sexually in this video that was taken at one of these freak off parties. It sure as hell looks like it. It involves Odell Beckham, who's another one that's going to be brought up in all this, I'm sure. And to set it up, the longer video has a cameraman coming toward Odell Beckham, and he sees that something is going on. And so he says, "Hey, oh," like to let him know, "Hey, I'm coming over." And then you'll see Odell Beckham kind of, it looks like he's pulling up his pants. And then you'll see a Justin Bieber kind of come out and come around and look at the camera. It sure as heck looks bad, but you decide and let us know what you think. Let's check it out. It's going to play a couple times so you can get a good view on it.
The industry party. The industry party.
All right, so what's going on there? You know, and of course, if people automatically want to think that it's something horrific, yeah, it looks like Bieber's doing something with his mouth there. Okay, let's just leave it at that. We're trying to be a family-friendly show here, but it does look like that. It does look like Odell's fixing his pants. Even toward the end, it looks like he's kind of buckling them back up. Was Bieber doing something in that? We don't know. But it sure as heck looks like it, and we hope that the police will be looking into that, because Bieber at that age, I would hope it's still within the statute of limitations if something was happening there, because Bieber was still underage in that clip. So it does look a little strange, you know. Yeah, Cody makes a great question. Who let the camera into the freak off? Listen, that's a great question. You know, I mean, that's real. That's a real good question. And that's why we say we don't know what's exactly going on there, but it's clearly some kind of a dance club or a party. That's definitely Odell Beckham, and that looks like Bieber. So someone got a camera in there, apparently. But like I said, it's hard to tell what's true and what's not. But one thing that's undeniably true is that kids are being abused in Hollywood. We know this. It's not even a question anymore. Right? I mean, is that even a question anymore? Kids are being abused in Hollywood. They're being abused in the music industry. And we're seeing the same pattern. And we're going to see a video here where you have a young Justin Bieber who's like young, and he's just looking to get famous, and he's clear-eyed, and he's happy, and he's like, all right, cool, I'm hanging with Diddy, you know? And then you see a few years later, and it's like their lives are destroyed. And some people say, well, that's just the industry. That's how, you know, the kids don't handle fame very well. Or it's the fact that they got surrounded by evil predators, by evil people that took advantage of them and abused them and hurt them. Got them into drugs and drinking and partying and that whole scene. The cost of fame, right? Some people say that's the only reason why. You know, Aaron Carter ended up, you know, unaliving himself. And who knows what happened to him? Now, I will, as a side note, point out that there are some conspiracies or some accusations that Aaron Carter was abused by Diddy, allegedly, and some people that were in these freak-off parties, and that was going to be used against him, and he tried to get out of it and stop doing it. And that led to a spiral, a downfall of him. Now, there was some other issues going on in Carter's life. The parents got divorced and there was feuds with his brothers and there was a whole lot of other stuff happening too. But that kid didn't start out the way he ended. And so you have to ask why. What the heck happened, right? It's unbelievable. So this 48 hours with Diddy, this is creepy stuff, man. And I want to ask you a question. Are you letting your child spend 48 hours with some adult man? What was Diddy in his 30s then? And Bieber's like 14 years old. You're letting your child go spend 48 hours at some music mogul's house without any supervision? Are you allowing this to happen? Well, I guess if you're blinded to the truth and the dangers that are out there, you might. But let's check this video out. It's really creepy. And I want you to pay attention to the promise. What is the promise? The promise for the future that Diddy makes to Bieber in this. Remember, we talked about that. Predators will always try to have, hey, this is what I'm going to do for you. Now, it may not happen right away, but it will happen. As a way of saying, unless you backstab me, unless something goes wrong, then you won't have this happen. It's a manipulation and a controlling tactic. And see if you can pick up what it was here. Let's check this out.
Yeah, so as soon as you turn 16, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna let you rock this every time you come in LA. Yeah, this gonna be yours. So every time you come in LA, it's a little dusty, but you know, go get the front shot of this.
Man.
And then out. Minute.
Woo. Okay.
Okay.
All right, so I'm gonna be driving this next year.
Yeah, when you get 16, you come down there, you gotta, you know, wear your seat.
I mean, I'm 15. You could ride in the passenger seat. I got my permit. Not yet.
No.
All right, 16.
Not ready. Let's slow down. Let's slow down, Justin.
Okay.
Let's slow down.
One
Okay.
step at a time.
But yeah, the keys is yours when you get 16. You're good to go.
I'm good to go.
Yeah.
All right.
Then when you get 18, you get the house. You get the mansion.
Okay. I get the mansion. Yeah. So where are we off to now?
Where would you like to go?
I mean, wherever you want to go. Where are we going?
So check this out, yo. Justin, you ever seen the movie 48 Hours? Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy. They're having the times of their lives, like, you know, where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. You know, I have been given custody of him. You know, he signed to Usher.
I'm signed to Usher.
I had legal guardianship of Usher when you know he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So and we gonna go full crazy.
I'm going crazy.
Crazy.
I'm taking this out tonight.
What you want to do? What you want to do over the next 48 hours?
48 hours. Let's go. Let's just go get some girls. Let's go get some girls.
A man after my heart. That's what I'm talking about, kid.
I mean, speechless. Now, did you catch what Diddy did there? Bieber's 15. When you turn 16, the keys to this car, this Ferrari, I believe it was a Ferrari, is yours. And when you turn 18, the mansion is yours. So what he's saying is, you stay with me, and you're going to have this beautiful car, and you're going to have this big mansion. Just stick with me, Biebs. Now think about that. You're talking to a 15-year-old who's never seen anything like that in his life. So Diddy shows him the car, gets him all excited about it. Bieber's like, wow, this is amazing. Like, wow. And then to think it could be his. Diddy's just going to give him the car, but he's got to wait till he's 16. Which is funny because he can't even register it at 16, I don't think. Well, depending on the state you're in. But then he said you can have the mansion too. You're going to have your own mansion and your own Ferrari. Just a few years. Just stick with me and I'll make sure you have it. That is a manipulation and a control tactic. So then it's like Bieber, if he ever wanted to get away, he's thinking, man, but I really want that car. I really want that mansion. Diddy can really make it happen, so I'm going to stay with him. You see that? Promises something for the future to get him to stay. And listen, community predators will work the same way. I'll be a father to you. I'll be a mom to you. I'll always make sure you're okay. I'll always make sure you have what you need. I'll always be there for you. Your parents may not understand you, but I will. And when you're 18, don't worry about it. I'll make sure that you're taken care of. And all those types of things. It's the same tactics. Whether it's a community scumbag, evil predator down the road, or it's a freaking P. Diddy, allegedly. And your kids need to know this. That this is how predators work. They have to control their victim. And you have the grooming predators who will control with emotion and the hormones. We heard from a few of those on our live show a few weeks back. We actually heard from predators. Remember that? Anybody who saw that show? If not, the live podcast is on our page, protectyourchildren.org. When these predators talk about it, I'll convince the child that they're going to like what's going to happen, that it's going to feel good. Now, the other question is, Diddy said that Bieber was there, him and his boy. Who else was there? Who else was there with Bieber with 48 Hours with Diddy? Who else was there? I'd like to know that. What other child, we're assuming it's another teenager, was there with them? Unless Diddy just made it seem like that it wasn't going to be him and Bieber alone. And then he talks about how he had custody of Usher, for crying out loud, at 13, 14 years old. So this seems to be Diddy's MO. Take in these young boys, groom them in the lifestyle of the rich and famous, promise them all these things, and then expose them to the other side. And of course, Bieber's 15. Diddy says, what do you want to do? He said, let's go find some girls. And Diddy's like, there you go. Let's go do it. So you're going to take this boy to go hook up with some girls at 15? I mean, damn, the warning signs are all there. Unbelievable. Now, I want to point something out about Aaron Carter. Now, there is a connection between children who are abused and bisexuality. There is. Now, it doesn't mean that every person that's bisexual has been abused, but there is a strong connection between the two things. When a child is abused at a young age, especially by some of the same sex, it causes confusion and it messes up their brain, their mind, their hormones. They have questions about themselves, about not stopping the abuse. They feel all sorts of shame and guilt. And Aaron Carter, I believe he was, let me see if I can find it here. I did a little search on Google here. I searched, was Aaron Carter gay? Just see what it would say here, but let's see what we got. It says, no, Aaron Carter was bisexual. In 2017, Carter tweeted that he is bisexual and that he realized he was attracted to both men and women when he was 13. That's hormones, okay? Carter said that he had his first experience with a man when he was 17. When he was 17, his first experience with a man. So, okay. Did he mean someone else 17 years old? Or was it an adult man when he was 17? It's just something to consider. I don't know. All right. Welcome to everybody that's watching on X, YouTube, Facebook, Rumble. Glad that you are here. We're going to listen to a song here by Justin Bieber. It's called Lonely. I don't know if y'all heard this yet. And I want you to listen to the emotion and the pain in his voice. We've had to censor out a couple of the words, trying to keep it family friendly. But when you listen to this child, this young man, it is so clear that he has experienced a lot of stuff that he wished he never did. But he didn't know any better because he was young. But you see, he was groomed and pulled into this nightmare. And that's usually how it happens with young kids too, and with your regular run-of-the-mill community predators. The kids don't realize what they're getting into at first until they're trapped. Same tactics, just different status on the predators. That's all. Well, let's check this out. This song is called Lonely by Bieber. And yeah, let's check this out.
Everybody knows my name, but something about it still feels strange. Like sitting in the mirror trying to steady yourself and seeing somebody else. And everything is not the same now. It feels like all our lives have changed. Maybe when I'm older it'll all calm down, but it's killing me now. What if you had it all, with nobody to call? Maybe then you know me. 'Cause I've had everything, but no one's listening. And I'm so lonely. And everybody knows my past now. Like my house was always made of glass. Well, maybe that's the price you pay for the money and fame at an early age. And everybody saw me sick, and it felt like no one gave. They criticized the things I did as an idiot kid. Oh, what if you had it all with nobody to call? Maybe then you know me. 'Cause I've had everything, but no one's listening. And that's just lonely. I'm so lonely. I'm so lonely.
I mean, you listen to that and you can hear the pain in his voice. And it goes to that point that you can have, like he said, everything. The money, the fame, the cars, the girls. But if he's struggling with something and he can't tell anybody, then you feel very lonely. And a lot of kids who have been abused feel that way. This is why their behavior changes. Because they've got this secret that they can't let out. And it doesn't matter how many people say, hey, I love you and I'm there for you and this and that. if there's that one thing that they can never talk to anybody about, then they are alone in that situation. But you hear that pain and that emotion in his voice. And you have to wonder, what did he go through? We got the pat downs for a while. We've got the club scene, 48 Hours with Diddy. And the crazy thing is that it's reported that Usher is the one who introduced Bieber to Diddy. And if Usher had been abused while he was there, experienced the same types of things, there's the grooming. Usher finds Bieber reportedly on a street corner in Canada doing music, brings him to Diddy to break him in, I guess. You can see how the pattern shapes up. Ashton Kutcher, we don't know the full story of that. Now, there's a clip out there of him kind of laughing about not being able to say what happened at Diddy parties. And there'll be more on that. Cuba Gooding Jr., we already know that he's facing some stuff. And he was at those parties as well. So the question is, how many kids were abused? And will there be charges? Will there be charges for kids that were abused at these parties? Right now, there is no charges. And there's lawyers out there saying that if there was anything on these videotapes that showed minors, that those charges would be there. Well, the caveat to that is if they're able to determine how long ago it was and the statute of limitations. But we cannot sit by now and just say, okay, well, Diddy's going to go to prison for the rest of his life. And, well, that's the end of that. This network of PDF files is so extensive in Hollywood. It's in the music industry, the movie industry, and all the way down to the community level. That this is the time to have that conversation with your kids. And we're not talking about that simple little, hey, if somebody touches you in a way you don't like, you let me know. That's not enough, parents. You need to teach your kids about what grooming is. You need to teach your kids about the false promises that'll be made and how predators will try to develop this emotional attachment with them so that they can later on abuse them. It's time for parents to take a strong look at themselves and say, are we involved in our child's life in the way we need to be? Do we really have an in-depth, intimate, not sexually, of course, emotionally intimate relationship with our children? Will they really come to us? Can they come to us if something bad was happening? Now it's time for the parents to say, you know what? Little Tammy or little Joey's been misbehaving a lot recently. All of a sudden it came out of nowhere. Let's not just chalk that up to just being a kid going through a stage. Maybe it's time to sit down and say, hey, I've noticed you've been struggling recently. What, ever since around this time? And then ask yourself, what was going on at that time when that child started misbehaving, when that behavior changed? Can you tie it back to something? We had a situation where there was a guy, and it's a family we were helping out, and the guy's son was really becoming distant. His son was about 12 or 13. It was becoming distant. Kind of a recluse, really, just into his video games pretty much all the time. Stopped wanting to be around the family. Grades at school started slipping. There was a lot of strange stuff happening, and we had to talk with the father, and we said, have you talked to your child about S abuse? Do you think maybe something's going on? Is there a situation where your child may have been exposed to something? Well, no, I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that. Please talk to him and find out. Well, about a week or so later, talked to the father, and it turns out that his 12 or 13-year-old son was being abused by an older cousin. And it's just, it's a matter of just asking those right questions. And they're tough questions because sometimes you got to look at who that child's around, remembering that 90% of victims know the offender. It's not complete strangers. It's over 90% actually. So it's time to have those conversations. And it doesn't matter if your kid's in Hollywood or in the music industry or they're living in your home. These conversations need to take place because this crap has got to stop. Our whole generation of kids are getting destroyed. They're being hypersexualized by the music and the videos and the images and the pornography on the phones because parents won't have parental controls on their phones, on the kids' phones. So the kids are just sucked right into this in the privacy of their own room, privacy of their own bathroom, privacy of their friend's house and their friend's bedroom because the parents of the friend isn't paying attention. And remember the 4-step predator plan, right? The predators want to demoralize, break down any faith, anything that would make the child believe that the thing that the predator wants to do is wrong. You got to break that down. You got to demoralize, then you got to desensitize the child. Let them see enough sexual stuff where it just becomes like, oh, it's no big deal. Demoralize, desensitize, and then you got to hypersexualize the kids. Expose them to as much possible sexual content to get their hormones flaring, to get them desiring to do sexual things, to make them believe it's not wrong and that it's okay. And then the predator can attack. Now, again, in Hollywood, it's, hey, I'm going to give you this brand new Ferrari. Just wait a year. You can have this mansion. Just wait a couple of years. I'm going to make your career take off. You're going to be rich and famous. Everyone's going to love you. Just stay with me and do what I want you to do. And we have some of that in the communities too. The kids that will, parents, if your child's coming home and they've got gifts and you don't know where the heck it came from, right? I mean, if they're coming home with clothes or they're coming and you're like, how did they ain't got no money. How did they buy this new game? Oh, where's this coming from? You better look into that because nobody should be buying your child's stuff without asking you first. It's another warning sign. Gifts to keep the kid quiet. All this stuff is in our protection guidelines on our website, protectyourchildren.org. It's all there. But let's take this opportunity with everything that's been happening in the past few years. You had the Harvey Weinstein stuff. You had the Quiet on the Set about Disney and Nickelodeon and all that. The Sound of Freedom movie about the trafficking of the kids. Now the Diddy stuff. Listen, there's a reason all this is finally coming out now. And it's to raise awareness and hopefully put a stop to this. But it starts right on the community level. It starts right in your own home. Because as we've said before, these predators don't have victims unless they get them from someone's house. Okay? Every victim is a son or a daughter, right? That grew up in a home. So it starts right there. They need to understand that these people will destroy their lives. And that you love them enough to not want that to happen. And all these kids know Diddy. They know who he is. So this is reaching them on that level now. Now most kids are joking about it today. We've heard all the jokes already. There's memes and the kids are joking. You know, hey, Diddy didn't do it. Diddy's innocent. You know, they joke around because the kids don't know how to process what the heck is actually happening. They don't have a clue of the depth of what this man allegedly did to all these women, to men, and to kids. Allegedly. They don't know how to understand all that. But they know it was horrible and that it was bad. So this is an opportunity to talk to your kids about this grooming and about predators and about people who use sex to get what they want and how they use sex to control and manipulate kids and how they use the promises of buying them things in order to get that sexual activity. And again, it don't matter if you're P. Diddy or you're the community scumbag down the road. They all work the same way, just on different levels. And parents, you have to be nosy. You've got to be involved in your kid's life. If you don't know what they're looking at on their phone or who they're talking to or what kind of conversations are taking place on their phone, you're doing your kids a great disservice. Because every single one of these cases, especially with these teachers, and there's been like 15 of them already since the school year started. 15 arrested already. And they've all been having communications with these kids through social media for months. How does that even happen? How does a parent not realize that their child is having an intimately sexual relationship with a teacher that started on social media? How does that happen? Because the parents aren't looking at the phones. They're not checking it out. They're just assuming that everything is fine. It's time to wake up from that and realize that that's not going to be enough. Justin Bieber, thankfully, seems like he's getting it back together. It's going to be a long road. Aaron Carter didn't make it. Rest in peace. Ashton Kutcher, Usher, countless others. I mean, what's going to happen? So, Diddy goes to prison the rest of his life. Okay. All these people that are suing him, all right, they're going to all get a piece of his empire. Okay. But what happens to the whole network of people that knew what was going on? The bodyguards, the housekeepers, the people that run the technology of the cameras and all that. What about all those people that knew what was happening and didn't say nothing? I want to see charges come out for those people. Break down the whole freaking network of them. But as it was said about Epstein, in this hypothetical situation, let's just say it turned out that there were leaders of other countries and former presidents of America and all these other people that were exposed being with underage girls, boys, whatever, the effect that would have on the politics and the countries of the world. And so there's this interest in keeping it all quiet and not prosecuting those people because it would cause too much of a disruption of the political landscape, right? This is the hypothetical they throw out there. And we feel like it's going to be the same thing with Diddy. They're not going to announce any huge names because they're going to be afraid it's going to shake things up too much. Now, the challenge is keeping everyone else quiet. There are brave men and women out there speaking out right now about people that were at these parties, people of high prominence. Now, the crazy thing is they're just not saying their names. Now, why is that? But this whole network has to be brought down. But it starts off with the people being outraged and say, we're not going to let this just go away like the Epstein thing did. What do you hear about Epstein anymore? Nothing. What do you hear about the Epstein client list? Nothing. What do you hear about the thousands of missing kids from Lahaina down in Hawaii when all that happened? Nothing. What do you hear about the 300,000 kids coming across the border, okay, in the last 4 years unaccompanied. What happened to them? We hear nothing. It's like people are just focused on the next big, brightest thing. Let's just move on. All right, they arrested Diddy. Okay, great. Let's move on to the next thing. What's happening in sports? Hey, oh, look at that. Come on, man. We got to wake up. Everyone's got to wake up out there. You love your children and you love kids. You need to wake up and see the danger and see what's happening and speak out and ask the right questions and demand accountability. Or we're going to lose this whole generation. We're going to lose them to predators and to sexual deviants. We can't let that happen. And as long as God allows us to continue to operate as an organization, we're not going to let that happen. And we need your help to do that. We need you to like, we need you to share, we need you to follow, subscribe, tell others. We need you to tune in as you're doing tonight to this live show. We need you to donate. And I know everyone's asking for money out there, but this is the reality of it. No one here takes a salary. Everything we do is paid for by the directors and the volunteers of this organization. They pay for the web hosting. They pay for the websites. They pay for advertising. They pay for everything. But it's very limited because we all have families to take care of and a life to live. So if you feel moved to help us out, you can make a tax-free donation on our website, protectyourchildren.org, protectyourchildren.org. And that will help us to advertise and get this content out to more and more people. If you can't, we totally understand that. But it doesn't cost you anything to like, share, subscribe, and tell others. So please, please do that. Help us get the word out so more and more kids can be protected. That's going to be it for this week. We thank you all for being here. Cody in the chat, rising on eagle's wings. Tons of people on X, YouTube, Facebook, Rumble. We're glad that you're here. Thank you to everyone who's going to listen on the podcast. Appreciate you. A lot of our views come after the fact. So we thank you to everybody who's tuning in, sharing the information. And we thank you for caring about our children. For saying, I'm not going to sit back and just let this happen anymore. I'm going to speak out and use my voice to protect our kids from these evil scum that's out there. Thank you. Thank you so much for your love and for your passion. All right. This is Chris with Protect Your Children Now. Weekly show, 8 p.m. Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. God willing, we'll be back with you next Wednesday. Until then, we ask your parents, keep protecting, stay nosy, and stay safe out there. Thanks for listening. God bless, and good night.